Hi, my name is Marc Belaiche. I'm president of TorontoJobs.ca. Thanks for watching. In this segment, I'm joined by Claire Pressman, who's president of References More Services. So welcome, Claire. You've had a long, extensive background in reference checking, and I'm sure a lot of people will want to know lots of great tips and best practices. So maybe you can tell viewers a little bit about yourself and your history and background in references.
First of all, hi, Mark. Thank you very much for having us. Very happy to be on your show. My name is Claire. You're, as you said, from References More Services. We've been doing references for over 15 years. I started doing references because I was a recruiter on the agency side, and I just noticed how many discrepancies there were on candidates' resumes. And I really always like to present a good candidate. I wanted them to stay with the company. I wanted to have both the candidate and the clients happy. So I felt there was that missing link, and we've been doing it ever since. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, excellent. That's great. So let's talk about reference checking. So what do you say about, like, do companies still do them? Do people just give their friends and contacts, but really it's just great references? You're not going to hear anything bad from them.
It's a good question. I hear that all the time. People say, like, why should I do references? You're only going to give people who speak highly about you, or give friends or relatives. First of all, you want to have candidates that are smart, that are going to give referees that speak well of them. You don't want to have candidates give you referees that are going to bash them. So that is what you want. Reference checking is as important today as it always was. It's not a black and white thing. What you do is you uncover how the candidate has performed in the past, and their past performance is pretty indicative of how they will perform in the future. You can uncover things like leadership skills, all kinds of soft skills that will help you develop and support this person. And in terms of giving friends, it's pretty easy to discern whether someone is a friend or family, or if they're lying to you. It's like when you do an interview and you're doing behavioral type questions. It's not something that a behavioral type question, you can't really provide a canned answer. You really have to think about your own behavior. So if you ask a situational question to a referee, it's the same type of thing. For example, you say to the referee, how is candidate Bob's leadership skills? And the referee says, great, he's a great leader. And you say something like, okay, could you give me an example of his leadership skills and how he gained buy-in from the group? And then all of a sudden you have someone who's like, and you sort of know that it's not legit.
Gotcha. So, I've heard this more recently where companies don't even do reference checks. I don't really agree with it, but for some reason they think, well, I'm not going to get much value from it. Aside from it could be friends anyways, but I'm not going to get much value from it. So maybe you can talk about, the value that references can provide to companies.
It's a missed opportunity not doing references. I mean, you really get to learn, you get a 360 perspective on your candidates. You've met with your candidate, you've obviously liked them. The candidate says that he or she does all kinds of wonderful things. You sort of want to validate. You want a validation, make sure that they have done what they said they've done. And you might want to find out what else the candidate does. You really get to know about the candidate by asking the right open-ended questions to the referees. And really, it's the final step in the recruitment process, and it really is not a step that should be overlooked. Right. It really, as I said before, a missed opportunity if you overlook it.
So what if you call the company, and this has happened to me as well in the past, where a company says, well, we have a no reference check policy. We can only tell you that the person worked here. We can't tell you the dates, what their position was, or they'll give you very limited information. How do you get around that?
It happens all the time. What a pain, huh? First of all, the candidate should know if the company has a no reference policy, and they should because they should have checked with the referee, and the referee should say, yes, I'll give you one, or no. But it happens. And what we do, the way we get around it, is we'll say to the referee, I understand that you can't give a professional a reference. Can we call you after hours, and you'll give us a personal reference. And if we ask you anything that you find uncomfortable, you'll just let us know and we'll go on. If the person says yes, great, we'll do it. If the person says no, like red flags go up, and we'll say, okay, let me just ask you one thing before I let you go. Would you rehire them? And if they say, no, I don't want to talk to you about it at all, you know what? You think that maybe this candidate has not asked permission or knows that there's no reference policy, and there's some red flags there.
All right. That's good to know. Yeah. So I know a lot of recruiters will do this. They'll find a person's profile and they'll go on to their Facebook account. They'll go on to Instagram. They're LinkedIn. They're looking for any kind of maybe dirt that they can find, maybe some pictures that shouldn't be there. What do you say? Like, can an employer not hire somebody because they have pictures that are maybe not good? Like, how does that
I hate to sound like an HR person, Mark, but it depends. First of all, recruiters should not be getting onto people's social media, because what if you do find out something that's discriminatory? For example, you've offered me the job. I know the parameters of the job. I know there's a lot of travel involved in the job, and I know there's a lot of that late hours. You go onto my Facebook setting, and of course, I don't have all my privacy settings up, and you find out that I have 4 young children. Then all of a sudden you start rethinking about offering me the job. I mean, that's completely discriminatory. If I say I can do the job and I know I can do the job, then you have to allow me to do the job. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I think that's very dangerous for a recruiter. However, having said that, there are instances where you really do want to Google this person. Let's say you're interviewing someone who says that they're a subject matter expert. You're interviewing me, I say I know about references, and you go, okay, let's see what Claire has done about references. And you Google me, and you find that I have written a couple of articles, or you find out my blogs, and you'll see that I really am, I am who I claim to say I am. I say that I know about references, and I write about them. But, and there are also some jobs like PR, communications, digital marketing, where you want to see your candidates' social media accounts. You want to see that they have followers. You want to see how they present themselves online. In that case, you should ask the candidates to give you their links as well as their references. So you can check their LinkedIn links. You can check their professional Instagram, their professional Twitter accounts. So, but be very, very careful about Googling someone. You can get yourself in a lot of hot water.
Good to know, yeah. So we have about 30 seconds here left. Any last minute tips for recruiters for when they're, in terms of best practices? Any final thoughts? Or
the best practices is really, check references. It really is a nugget. You can get some great information about your candidates and really learn how to support them if you're planning on onboarding them.
Excellent. Okay, thanks a lot, Claire. So someone can reach, a viewer could reach Claire at referencesandmoreservices.com, right?
Yes, thank you. Email address is Claire at referencesandmoreservices.com. I know it's a mouthful.
Perfect. Okay, and anybody that wants to connect with either of us can do so on LinkedIn. And check out all our other videos that we have on various topics for recruiters on our YouTube channel, which is the Toronto Recruiters Conference YouTube channel. Thanks very much, Claire. Have a great day. And
thanks for having me.
Thanks so much.
Take care.